Good morning, students. Welcome back to online session on programming for problem solving course. In our previous session, we started the third unit and we said in your third unit, we are going to discuss all these concepts like basic algorithms, then functions and passing arrays to functions. These three are the important concepts from your third unit. And as a starting point, we said we're going to start the functions concept, and in that, the basic terminology associated with these functions we discussed. So the basic terminology is nothing but what is a calling function, what is a called function, okay, how we're gonna declare the function. I mean, all the three basic stuff related to the functions, the declaration, the definition, and function calling. Here we said there will be no initialization, rather we call it as a function call. Okay, all these things we discussed in our previous session. So we defined the function and we said it is a step towards modular programming. There is nothing but whenever the program becomes too complex, or whenever it is very difficult for us to put the entire code within the main function, we said we are going for modular programming. That is nothing but the complex problem will be subdivided into small understandable parts which can easily be solved. And after solving these parts separately, we are combining the solution to get the final solution to the big complex problem. Okay, so these modules in C, we are saying them as functions. And functions, they are the way towards top down approach, because whatever complex problem we are having, whatever uh, understandable problem we are having, we are keeping it at the top level, and that complex problem we are simply subdividing into smaller modules, and each of these smaller modules we are calling them as functions. Okay, and it is a way towards top down design. Okay, at the top we are having complex problem, and at solution we are having at the down. Okay, so yeah, here we said these modules, I mean, when you're dividing the big complex problem into smaller modules, these smaller modules will communicate with the actual problem or functions. The smaller modules are nothing but functions. Functions are going to communicate with main function, where main is the complex problem. Functions are going to communicate with main function by using a technique called parameter passing. Okay, this parameter passing very soon, I mean, after the completion of this functions basics, we will discuss. Okay, so functions in C, we said it is an idea of top-down design. Okay, you can have many more functions whenever required inside your C program, but there should be only one main functions. You cannot have more than one main function within a C program. Okay, there should be only one main function, but user defined or predefined functions, many number you can use. Okay, and we also said the execution of the program will always start from the main function and ends at the main function only. Okay, but in between we can call many number of functions. Okay, uh, and all these functions, they are independent modules. They're not dependent on one another. That means at any point of time you can call any of the function, and whenever you are, I mean, whenever a particular function called, immediately the control will be shifted to that particular function, and the control will return back only after executing the complete code within that function. Okay, this thing you have to remember, all the functions are independent modules. That means you can call all these functions at any point of time. At any point of time, there is no need that at certain amount of, I mean, at certain period of time only you can execute a particular function. It is not like that. At any point of time within your program, you can execute a function, you can call a function. So whenever there is a call to a function is made, immediately the control will be shifted to that function, and the control will return back only after executing the complete block of that function, complete statements within the body of that function. Okay, so yeah, I mean, all these functions, user defined, predefined, you can call from the main function. Okay, all these user defined, predefined functions we can call from the main functions. But the question over here is who is calling the main function? Okay, we are only writing, we are only coding the main function within our program, but who is calling this main function? In the sense, the operating system of your computer. Your operating system of the computer is responsible for calling the main function. So the control from operating system will be shifted to the main function because operating system is calling. So whoever is going to call a particular function, they will transfer the control from them to the function. They will transfer the control from them to the function. So once the function execution completes, whether it is main or user defined, whatever it is, again the control will return to the called part. So in case of main, we said the main function will be called from the operating system. So the control will to the main function, the control will be shifted from the operating system, and once the main function completes its execution, again the control will return back to the operating system. Remember this one. Okay, the control will be received to the main function from the operating system, and the control will be returned back from the main function to the operating system. Okay, this is an important point. Yes, we said whenever you are declaring a function, yeah, there are two different doors. A function is going to have two different doors. The first door is the input door and the second door is the output door. We discussed this thing in our last session. I have explained this thing. So whenever you are writing a function, you have to give a name to that function. So let us say my name over here is example. Example is my function name. I'm giving the name over here as example. Okay, example. So this example function, it is going to have two doors. One is for input and the other one is for output. So generally whenever we are using a function like example, okay, I'm keeping parenthesis, a set of parenthesis, and after that this semicolon. So now this particular portion, this particular area is the door for input, is the door for input. We call it as parameters to the function. We call it as parameters to the function. And this particular door over here, this particular door is your output door. Output. Okay, and we call it as a return type. What do we call it? We call it as a return type. Return type. Return type. Likewise, remember this one. So every function, it is going to have two doors. Door for input is parameters, door for output is return type. See, whatever the function type is, whether it is user defined or predefined, whatever the function type is, the function parameters, you can have many in number, more than one function parameters, and that parameters we are going to specify in terms of type, whether it is integer type, character type, double type, float type, what type of parameters you are passing, what type of parameters you are giving as an input to the function. Suppose if you have only one parameter, simply put int, only one parameter of type integer. If you are passing two parameters of integer, then int comma int, like this. So here specifying the type will indicate the number of type of parameters. So here 2 times int I have written. So two integer values I am going to pass. Two integer parameters, two integer input values I am going to pass to this function. And after processing, it can return at most only one value. At most only one value. So if it is returning again integer type of value, specify the return type as int. That indicates the function will return integer type of value. If you put int over here in the place of return type, if you put int, it indicates that the function is going to return an integer type of value. Only one value. So only one type you can specify as a return type. That's why we are saying return type singular. But whereas if you see the parameters, we are saying parameters, so more in number. Return type only one value, parameters more in number. So not only two, you can pass as many as you insist. Okay, as many values as you can insist, you can pass as parameters to these functions. Okay, as parameters to this function. So not only integer, you can pass the mixed types also, like integer, comma, character, comma, float. Float. So the order is very important. So first you have to pass the integer value, then character value, then float value. Likewise, whatever order you are giving over here in the parameters, whatever type declaration, whatever number you are taking over here, similarly you have to pass the values. Like first integer. So suppose if I am calling, see over here, this function, this particular example function is taking, take this example. Okay, it is taking three parameters of mixed types. The first parameter should be integer, second parameter character, third parameter floating point, and the return type, return value, it should be integer. So over here, what I will do when I call this function, in the sense, because it will return an integer value, so I need to store the, in order to store that value, I need an integer parameter, integer variable. So that variable I am declaring over here. Let us see, int result, int result. So now after processing, whatever example function is going to give as an output, that output I will store in this result. So how I can call this example function now? Result equals to example, result equals to example of, first parameter should be integer, so that I am taking integer numerical value 24. Second parameter should be character, so that I am taking as p, character p. Then third parameter, character means we have to use single quotations, that I have given. Okay, then the third value should be, then the third value should be a floating value, float value, so that I am giving 14.37, 14.37, like this. Close this one. So see here, the first parameter I said in the declaration, the first parameter I said I pass integer, second parameter character, third parameter float. Similarly, I have passed the values over here. I can't put p here, 24 here, p in the first position and 24 in the second position. Again, what will happen? That violates the rule, that violates the syntax of declaration. So automatically you will get an error. Hopefully you understood. And after processing all these values taken by the function as input, it will return an integer result. It will return an integer result. So that result, when the function is returning, I am holding that result, I am storing that result into res. Suppose if you don't want to give any return type, or if you don't want to specify any parameters, we have a type called void. So if you don't want to return any value from this function, put output, I mean close the output door. How we can close? Simply by making void over here. Void means no values, no operations, we said. So keeping void over here, it is something like closing the door. It is something like closing the output door. Same thing you can do for the input door. And if you don't want to pass any input, simply make it as void. Here also make it as void. So keeping void over here, again it will close the parameter door, input door. Keeping void over here closes the return type door, that is output door. So if you put both the things void, then input is also closed, output is also closed. Quickly we go and we see what we have inside our slides. See, advantages, we said the problem can be subdivided and it can be easily solved. The first advantage of using function is, as we are subdividing the bigger complex problem into smaller modules, we can easily solve them. The second one is reusability, and the third one is data protection. All these things we discussed in our previous session. User defined functions, user defined functions are nothing but the functions defined by the programmer, not by the developer. Functions, they are of two types, we said: built-in functions, predefined functions, and the second type is user defined functions. Predefined functions developed by the developers, and user defined functions, we are responsible for giving the code for user defined functions. So like every other object in C, when you are defining a function, it needs to be declared, defined, and called. The procedure for declaring, defining, and calling, everything we discussed in our last class. And we have also seen a simple example that I will again take and explain to you. The simple example program for printing hello world. So hash include stdio Programming, when we are doing, students, believe me, the only way to learn programming is rigorous practice. You have to do practice. If you have systems at home, just download the C compiler, and whatever codes I'm writing step by step, because I'm writing hardly 10 to 15 lines of code so far. We're not doing any complex programming. Believe me, if you don't do the programming here, when it comes to the third semester, you will struggle a lot. Like there we have data structures and algorithms, and there the programs will be nearly 250 lines, 300 lines, like that we are going to have. So if you don't do the programming, there everything will become very difficult for you. So hash include stdio.h, then we set int main of void. These things are going to be in common in every program. So now what I am doing, I need to use a function. So first of all, I have to do the declaration of that function. And declaration, as we said, it will come before the main. So here, this area, we do the declaration of function. Declaration of function. Definition, we do after the main function. This is the definition area. Definition of function. Definition of function will come over here. And lastly, the calling, function calling, which will come within the main function. Function call. All these things I have we have discussed in the last class. So now I'm doing the declaration. Declaration, how we have to do? We have to take the function name, parameters, return type. Three things we have to specify. That will come under declaration. So function name, just now I have taken example. So here also I am taking example, and I am saying this function will not take anything. So no input to the function. So parameters are void. No output from the function. So the return type is also void. Just see this coding, how I have done. Void example void. So return type, this area return type, output from the function is void. So output door is closed. Input parameters, input to the function, it is also void. So input door is also closed. Now I am defining the function. How we can define? Same thing. You specify the return type, specify the function name, specify the parameters, and like this, because here we are writing the code. Definition means we are writing the code for the function. Here we are doing the declaration, and here we are defining. So when you are writing the code, don't put the semicolon at the end of the function definition. But when you are doing the declaration, put the semicolon at the end of the function declaration. Okay. So now here you write only one statement. I am writing like cout of hello world. Hello world. This is simple statement I am writing. So now this is function definition is over, function declaration is over. Function call I have to do. Before doing the function call and after making the function call, I am writing two statements. Sorry, here not cout. I'm getting confused between DS and C++. Sorry, C language. So here you have to put printf of. Printf, isn't it? Normal function, normal function call, printf function call, and here also same thing. Okay. Here what I'm doing, printf. Uh, this is before function call. Before the function call. Before the function call, what you will see, close this, put the semicolon, and call the function here. Example. Call the function here like this. Okay. And this is function call. Sorry, it's my mistake. This is function call. And after that, I'm printing another statement, printf. And here also you take one \n just to have a separation between the lines. Okay. Here also take the printf after the function call. So as per our discussion, whenever there is a function call, what should happen? So first the program, as we discussed, always the program execution will be start from main function only. Always the program execution will start from main function. So the control will start from here, then it will see this first statement. It will see this first statement before the function call. You will see this on the output screen before the function call. and after that what we are doing, we are calling the function. Example function we are calling. This is a function call. So what will happen? The control will jump from here to here. The control will jump from here to here to execute this user defined function. So the control will come over here. So you will see this particular thing. You will see this particular thing, hello world, on the output screen. So after, before the function call, you will see this particular message, hello world message. And once the function execution is over, once the function body is over, once the function body execution is over, then what will happen? Again, the control will go back to the calling area, where from where you have called the function. To that point only the function call will return, function control will return. After executing the function body, the control will return back to this example only. So after this, what we have? We have after the function call. So you will see this message. First you see this message before the function call, then you see hello world, then you see after the function call. So simply save this program. I'm taking the example fun.c. Okay, example function.c. Then compilation, it is successful. Then you can do the execution, run this program. As you can see, before the function call, you are getting, okay, before the function call, first message, then hello world you are seeing from the function body, and finally again after how the control is jumping, you have to focus on that one. After printing this before the function call, the control is jumping to the body. Okay, the control is jumping from here to here. Okay, and it is printing hello world. Then after printing hello world, again it is going back to the function call. After printing hello world, again the control is going back to the function call, and after that we have this printf statement. So it is printing after the function call this message. So you have to observe the way you have sandwiched this example function call between these two printf statements. In that same way, you are getting hello world sandwiched between before and after the function call messages. Okay, so this example function you are calling only one time. There is no restriction that you have to call only one time. You can call multiple times. Like let us say if I call this same function, example function, like 3 times, how our output will change. So first what will happen? It will print before the function calls, because we are calling more number of times. Before the function calls, you will get this message on the output screen. After that, you are calling example, so the control will jump from here to here, and it will print hello world, and it will return back to the first function call. After returning back, again it will go to the second statement, second function call. Okay, second function call. Once again the control will jump from here to here, and it will print hello world, and it will return back to the second function call. Then after second function call, once again you have third time example function call. So again the control will jump from here to here, and it will print hello world, and it will return back to the example. So like this, 3 times you will see this hello world sandwiched between these two before function calls and after function calls messages. Just save this and compile. Compilation successful. Now you execute and see the output. See, now as I said, you are getting 3 times hello world message sandwiched between before the function calls and after the function calls message. The way how you sandwiched the example function function calls over here. So this is about functions, function declaration, function call, function definition. Okay, these 3 things you have to remember whenever you are using functions in our programming. And this is just the beginning. Many of the times we use functions in our programs. So the basics, the terminology you have to understand, you have to remember. So this is simple greetings program. We have discussed greetings is nothing but printing hello world. So then we have basic function define. In today's session, we hopefully complete this particular thing. Okay. So the classification, basically what is basic function define, in the sense the classification of the function design. It is done based on their return value and based on their parameters. Okay, based on their parameter list and based on their return value, the classification of the functions is being done. So we said every function, the input area is your parameter list, parameters. the output area is a return type. When you have two different what we call um, combinations, I mean two different combinations, I mean two different variants. So with the help of those two variants, we can make up to four combinations, isn't it? Up to four combinations. That is, they can, I mean, we said whenever the function is not having any return value, any output, simply make that output as void. And whenever the function is not having any parameters, you can make that parameters as void. So over here, our consideration, it should be like this. Yeah, again I will go to that whiteboard. So the same thing, here our consideration should be like this. So this particular output, either it can be void, the particular output from the function, return type from the function, either it can be void. Void means no output at all, no output at all from the function, or it can have, the function can have the output, the function can have the output. So having output, we call it as non-void. Having output, we call it as non-void. Okay, non-void. Having output is non-void. Here also same thing. Okay, having void over here is means no parameters, but having parameters, we can make it as no non-void. Okay, or with parameters, sorry, we can say it as with parameters. What do we say? With parameters. This is void means without parameters. Void means without parameters. Without parameters. And if you are taking a non-void, that means if you are taking any specific parameter over there, it will become non-void or with parameters. With parameters. Non-void or with parameters. Remember this one. With this question, it is very, very important. With parameters. So something happened to my writing pad. Okay, so non-void, I mean, in case of output, if you are making the return type as, I mean, if you are making if you want to make the output as void, if you don't want to return anything from the function example, then simply make it as void. Then we call the function as void function. Void function, it will not have any output. Non-void function means it will have output. So void function will not have any output, non-void function will have the output. So here again two more combinations. Non-void function without parameters means non-void function, sorry, void function without parameters means, void function we are saying, void function means no output, without parameters means no input, no output, no input. How we say that function? Void function without parameters. Void function without parameters means both output as well as input will be void. So the second category, yeah, here like this, how many different combinations we have, that we will see on the slides. So based on the requirement of parameters list, and based on the requirement of return type, they can have we can have four different types of functions, four different classifications of functions. So combining the return values and parameters, parameter list, both having return value, not having return value, having parameter, not having parameter. Likewise, I mean, having input, not having input, having output, not having output. Likewise, if you combine all these combinations, then we have four different classifications of functions. The first thing you can see, void function without parameters. Void function without parameters. That means void function means no return type. Without parameters means no parameters. So no return type, that is output is 0, output is nothing, not even 0, output is nothing. And without parameters means input is also nothing, output is not there, input is also not there. Then the second category, if you see, void function with parameters. Void function with parameters in the sense output is not there, but we have the input. With parameters we are saying. So here no output, no input. Here no output, but there is input. Void functions with parameters we are saying. So there is input. Again, the third category, non-void functions without parameters. So that means no, oh, sorry, output is there but no input. Non-void, we are saying non-void means it will have some output without parameters, in the sense parameters we are not going to have, input we are not going to have. The last one, non-void function with parameters, so both input as well as output we are having. Need to understand this one. Void functions without parameters, void functions with parameters, non-void functions without parameters, non-void functions with parameters. So four different classifications, of our basic function design. So first we'll see the first type of function category, that is void function without parameters. So no input, no output. A void function can be written without any parameters. So void function means it is not having any output, and without any parameters means it is not having input as well. As the void function does not have a return value, it can be used only as a statement. So you cannot call the function and initialize that function to some variable. Okay, so like this here, greeting program or example greeting function or example function, whatever we discussed just now. So doing like this, because it is a void function, we are discussing about void functions. If it is a void function, it will not have any output, output will not be there. So if it is not having output and you are initializing the greetings function call to some particular variable, if it is not having any output, what it will store in that result variable, that's the reason why it is an error. Doing like this is an error with a void function. Void function call you cannot initialize to a variable. You can use this particular function call as a statement only, but not as an expression. Remember this one. You can use this greeting function call, because it is a void function, as a statement only. You cannot use it as an expression. So quickly we see the example, a more complicated example on this void function without parameters. The same thing I will take, hash include stdio dot h, then void, okay, give some space because I'm going to do the declaration over there, function declaration, void main, int main of void, sorry, int main of void, and here you, like this you do, and over here you put function declaration like void function name. I'm taking example or greeting, or we can say take add, function name add. See, this is just an identifier. You can take anything, whatever is your concern, identifier you can take. Suppose if you want to add two numbers, take the function name as add. It is up to you. You can take example as function name and you can perform the addition in that function. It is just the name given to that function. You can take anything over there. So just to have that ambiguity removed from our mind, what I am taking over here, I am taking the function name as add values like this. You can take anything. Add values is my function, and I'm saying I'm not going to put anything over there. I'm not going to put anything as input to this function. So this is void function without parameters, because both my return value and parameter list is void. So this is a void function without parameters. Hopefully you understood. So now do the definition of that function. So void add values of, one more void, here you do the declaration int a comma b, okay, int a comma b, then read the values. Before reading, print one statement, printf enter a comma b values, okay, put the semicolon at the end, then read those two values, scanf percentile d space percentile d comma and percent a comma and percent b. Like this I'm taking two variables, reading two variables, then perform, take another variable over here just to perform. I mean, these programs long before we did it normally, like sum I'm taking, then sum equals to a plus b, like this you do, adding a and b values and keeping the final value into the sum. Okay, now print the result. Print f, here you put sum of a comma b colon, here where is the result? Inside sum we have, so percentile d you put here and that sum you write over here. So like this we are printing the result. Okay, like this we are printing the result. So now what will happen? Yeah, we need, yeah, this is the definition of the function. Here what we are doing? We are doing the definition of the function. Hopefully you understood. So here what we have to do now, after declaration definition, do the calling of the function. How we can call? Because it is not having a return value, add values is not having any return value, so we can use that thing as an statement only. We cannot use that add values function as an expression. So add values of, that's it, put the semicolon at the end. So this is function call. Hopefully you understood. So now what will happen? When you compile this program, when you execute this program, the control will enter into the main function and it will see this add values function call. So the control will jump over here and it performs all these operations and again it will return back to the main function. See, compilation successful and return, run. It will ask you to enter a comma b value. So here I am entering 24 comma 56. So what will be the output? It is 80, isn't it? 24 comma 56. The program will add, the function will add these two values, 24, 56, and as it is not returning the value back to the main function, we are printing the value from the function itself. From the function itself we are printing. So the sum of a comma b, 80 you are getting. This is from this entire thing, the complete actions, set of actions we are performing inside the function body only. We are not passing anything from the main functions, we are not giving anything as an input from the main function, and we are not returning anything back to the main function. So that's the reason why input door is closed, output door is also closed. You have to remember this one. Input door is closed, output door is also closed. Okay, hopefully you understood this one. So quickly go and see the second classification of the function, that is void function with parameters. So in this case what we can do, a void function, it can also have parameters. It can, I mean, closing the output door, it doesn't mean that you have to close the input door also. These two things are completely independent to each other. You according to our need, according to our requirement, any of the door we can close, any of the door we can close. So closing output door is nothing but keeping return type as void. Closing input door is nothing but keeping parameter list as void. So it is completely upon us what door we want to close. So in this case, in the second classification, void function with parameters, in the previous case both my doors were closed, both input door as well as output door, both my doors were closed. So now what I'm doing, void function with parameters I'm saying. So in this particular case I'm going to open the input door. See here, void function, void means closed output door, void function means closed output door, with parameters means opened input door. Input door I want to open. Parameters are helpful in order to pass the values to the calling function. Okay, so from the calling function to the called function, what we are doing, yeah, see over here I just make the clarification. So now this add values function is called from the main function, isn't it? The add values function is called from the main function. So who is calling add values function? Main is calling. Who is calling add values function? Main is calling. So main will become my called function. Main will become my called function. Sorry, main will become my calling function because it is calling add values. Okay, you just once again you focus. Add values is called from main function. So who is calling main add values? Main is calling. So main will become calling function. That thing I will write over here. Main will become calling function because main is calling the add values function. So what is called from the main function? Add values is called from the main function. So add values will become my called function. You have to remember this one. Called function. Add values will become called function. Main will become calling function. Who is calling add values? Main is calling. So main will become calling function. What is called from main? Add values is called from main. So add values will become called function. Remember this one. So parameter passing. Parameter passing is a technique in which the parameters or the values will be passed from the calling function to the called function. So over here you can read this one. The parameters definition must you have to remember. Okay. See here, parameters are helpful in passing the values from the calling function to the called function. To the called function. From the calling function to the called function. Parameter passing is a technique of sending values to the called function. So from the calling function to the called function. So from here to, we can say, to this point here, called function. From calling function to the called function, what we are doing, we are passing the parameters, and it is a way of communication between called function and calling function, parameter passing. Okay, as the void does not have a return value, it can only be used as the statement. Again, we are saying void function. Void function means it will not have any return value. It will not have any return value. So this second classification of the function will also be used like a statement only. It cannot be used like a parameter, sorry, expression. So quickly we need to see the example for this one also. So here, this program only, what I have to do, I want to open the input door and I want to make the output door closed. So here, input door I'm opening, and I will pass two values because I'm performing add values. So minimum two values I have to pass. Minimum two values I have to pass. So int comma int. So what it indicates, the parameter list I have taken int comma int. So this indicates that I will pass two integer type of values to this function. Two integer type of values to this function. I will pass two integer type of parameters to this function add values. So after performing the operation, whatever operation you want to perform, whatever calculation you want to perform, whatever manipulation you are doing inside the add values function, after doing that, what it will return, what this add values function will return, it will return nothing. We are saying return type as void, so it will return nothing. So again, you can use this add values as a statement only. Okay, but over here you have to change the input, and here also you have to change the input. So this is int a comma int b. Let us say we are receiving int a comma int b, and here no need of doing this much declaration, only sum is enough. And these three statements, these two statements we have to remove, because here we are not reading any input we are reading inside the main function. Here you put that one, printf enter a comma b values. Okay, a comma b values, and scanf put percentile d comma percentile d here comma and percent a comma and percent b. Now we are reading the values from the keyboard inside the main function, and after reading the values a b values, now I have, so I need to do the declaration of a b also. Without declaration I cannot use a b, so a b declaration is over. So now what I have to do, when I'm calling the function, I have to pass the values, I have to pass the input values. So a comma b I'm passing, whatever values I'm reading, that same values I'm passing over here. Okay, that same values I'm passing over here. So after passing the values, what I have to do, yeah, the function is called, the control will jump from here to here, and whatever you are passing a over here, it will be copied into this a. Whatever value you are taking as b over here, it will be copied into b. So these are my actual parameters, these are my actual parameters, and these are my formal parameters. About actual parameters and formal parameters we'll discuss in our next session. So simply remember actual parameters, formal parameters as terms only. So then inside the function body, I'm declaring one variable sum, and using this AB, I'm performing the sum and I'm printing the sum. Because my function is not returning the value to the main function, I'm printing the result from the called function itself. Because my called function is not returning any values back to the calling function, I'm printing the values inside my called function only. So now compilation successful, and then run. As you can see the output, it is asking me to enter the AB value. Same thing, 24 comma 56 I am entering. So 24 56, it is 80. But now you have to understand the difference from where we are reading the value and from where we are printing the values. Okay, these values enter A comma B. Where we are doing this, we are doing inside the main function. As you can see here, inside the main function we are reading enter A comma B. And when you are entering A comma B 2456, using this scanf, we are reading those two values, and then we are passing those two values as parameters to this add values function. So A value 24 will be passed over here, B value 56 will be passed over here. The same values A comma B values will be copied into these formal parameters. From these actual parameters, A comma B values will be copied into formal parameters. A will be copied into A, B will be copied into B. So now inside this add values function, what I am doing, inside this add values function, I am performing the addition. I am performing the addition by taking a separate variable, third variable, sum variable. So sum is equals to A plus B, I am saying. So 24 plus 56, that is 80. That 80 we are storing into this sum. Okay, after this sum is having 80, we are printing that sum value using this statement, sum of A comma B percentile D. This percentile D will be replaced with this sum value. The same thing you are seeing in the output, sum of A comma B 80. Likewise, this is something opened output door, that is void function with parameters. Void function with parameters, just now we practiced. So the next type is non-void function without parameters. That means output door is open but input door is still closed. Okay, input door is closed but output door is open. Non-void function without parameters. So output door is open, input door is closed. So this type of function returns a value but don't have any parameters. So no parameters, no input. These parameters are nothing but input. So as we said, no parameters, then no input. It will have a return value. Function returns a value. Returns a value means output is there. Return value is, if it is having return value, output is there. If it is not having parameters, then input is not there. The most common use of this function design is to perform a keyboard or file and returns, to perform a read operation on keyboard or file and return the input, whatever values you are reading. Okay, very soon you will understand this statement also. As this function return a specific type of value, the function cannot be used as a statement, rather you have to use it as an expression. Okay, the function call now it is returning values, so you cannot use it like a simple statement. Rather what you have to do, you have to declare a variable and you have to initialize the function call to that variable. So we'll go and we'll see how that thing will change inside your programming. So here what we are saying, return type we are having int, but parameters input door we are closing. So make it like void. Input door is closed but output door is open. So let me just see how much time is elapsed. It is almost like 48 minutes. So we'll have another 10 minutes. Okay, we'll continue another 10 minutes. So like this. So what we did, output door we opened but input door we closed. So inside the main function you cannot read the parameters over here because we cannot pass input now. Input door is closed, but output door is open as you said. So int sum I can take over here, the result I can read. So sum equals to add of nothing because we are not passing any input. So like this, after reading the value, after returning the result, print the result, printf. Okay, sum of A comma B is colon percentile D comma sum, like this you put. Okay, then come down here, as the input output is open, output is int, but input is not there, simply delete these. Input is not there and make the input as void. Okay, there is no input. Then here what we have, int sum equals to a plus b, and sum of a comma b percentile d. This thing you have to remove, and here you have to read the values. Okay, read the values, integer a comma b. Okay, integer a comma b, and here printf. Okay, read, enter a comma b values. Okay, read these two values inside scanf. Scanf, put percentile d space percentile d comma a and percent a comma and percent b, and here perform the sum, or directly you can return a plus b like this. So now what will happen, we have declared a comma b, then printf a comma b, we are reading the values because the main calling function is not passing any parameters, so we have to read the parameters inside the called function itself. So we are reading the parameters a comma b, we are reading whatever values you want to take as input, that values we are reading over here. After that, return a plus b. This return keyword is used to return values from the uh, called function. So we said at most called function can have only one output. Parameters it can have many in number, but output it can have only one value. So that return keyword will return the value. So a plus b, what it will do, it will calculate a plus b. So whatever a value, b value you input, that it will add and it will return. So quickly go to your save the program and compile it. Compilation is successful, and then run the program to see the output. See here it is asking me to enter the AB values over here. So the program execution started here, and then you are calling this add values function. So the control jumped from here to here. Now it is stopped, as by seeing this scanf statement, it is stopped over here. It is reading A value and reading B value. So pass two values over here, A comma B. So 24 comma space 56. Hit the enter. Yeah, after when you supplied the values for A and B, what has happened? Yeah, it has calculated A plus B value. A plus B value which is 24 plus 56, which is 80. So that 80 it is returning from the function. So when you are returning the value from here, the control will come over here and the value will be returned from add values to sum. Whatever value you are returning over here, that value will be stored inside this stub from here to here. See how I am showing the arrow mark. This is very important. From here to here, the output is saved. Now the sum will have that output. So we are saying printf sum of a comma b percentile d sum. So the sum will have 80, that same 80 you are receiving. That same 80 it is printing on the output screen. You can clearly see that thing over here. Sum of a comma b is 80, like this. So this is very easy to understand. Okay, we'll quickly go and we'll see what last type of classification we have, that is non-void function with parameters. So both my doors are open now. That is input door, output door is open, input door is also open. Both my doors are open. So this type of function passes parameters and returns value. Passes parameters and returns a value. So passes parameters means input, it is open. Input, it is open. Returns a value means output. Output, it is also open. It is also open. So as this function returns a specific type of value, again we need to initialize the function call with a variable because the function is returning a value. So we'll go and we'll see the program example how it will gets modified. Okay, so over here the function is returning a value and taking input as well, taking the values as well. So two integer parameters, because we are adding two values, two integer parameters I am passing. So this is what type of function? Non-void function with parameters. Non-void function with parameters. So again, calling function, inside calling function you have to have some a b also, and you need to read a comma b values also. So printf, because here only we read, from the calling function only we pass the values. So enter a comma b values. put the semicolon at the end, then read the values. Scanf, here you put percentile D space percentile D, comma, and percent A, comma, and percent B. Put the semicolon at the end. A, B values we have read. So now pass those A comma B values as input to this add values function, A comma B here. Okay. Then after performing the operation on A comma B, what it will do? It will return the result. It will return the result. That result will read into this sum, and we are printing that sum. So here in the called function, what modification here? Int A comma int B, because we are receiving the values from the calling function now. From the calling function to the called function, we are receiving the values. Here it is passing A, B. So this A gets copied into this A, this B gets copied into this B. So now after this, what we have to do? Int A comma B and reading values, because this already we did it. This already we did it over here in the calling function itself. So just remove it. So here just we are performing the operation. Inside the add values, just we are performing the operation. Reading values and outputting values, everything we are doing over here itself in the main function. Okay. In the main function, we read the values from the keyboard, A comma B values, and we are passing those two as parameters to this add values function. And inside add values functions, we are calculating the addition, and we are returning the output from the, we are returning the result from the add values function. That result will be stored inside this sum, because this add values will return that value, and we are storing that value into this sum. So the same sum we are printing on the output screen. Save it, save the program, compile it. Compilation, hopefully it is successful. Yeah, it is successful. Then run it just to see the output. So again, as you can see, it is asking A comma B value, but this time it is asking from the main function. Okay, so I'm entering some, okay, take some different values, 56, 72. Okay, so what will be the sum? It is 128. Okay, so reading values inside the main function only we have done, and outputting the result, that also we have done inside the main function only. But the result calculation, that sum calculation, we have done inside add values function. So this is how you can make the programs in 4 different ways. So these are the classifications, basically we say, of the functions. Okay, so how many they are? The first classification, void functions without parameters, no input, no output. Void functions with parameters, no output but input. Non-void functions without parameters, so output is there but no input. Then non-void functions with parameters, both input as well as output will be there to the function. Hopefully you understood these programs, understood this concept. This is basic function design. Hopefully in our next session we see one of the important 7 marks question, LAQ question, that is interfunction communication. It is very, very, very important. Interfunction communication example, it is very important, and you have to watch that video, and that concept is very similar to the today's concept whatever we have discussed, how the functions are communicating with each other. Inner function communication is nothing but how the functions will communicate with each other. Here also we have seen that same thing, how the calling function and called functions are communicating. There also we see the same thing, how the calling function and called function will communicate with each other. This concept is not that much important, this basic function design, as we learn how we pass the values, but over there we see how exactly the functions will communicate and what happens to the actual parameters, what happens to the formal parameters, everything we see over there. And that concept, it is very, very, very important, believe me. Okay, 7 marks question. Understanding is important, execution is also important. Okay, and I suggest you students, from the basics only you watch the videos, from the basics only you execute the programs, because without execution you will not understand anything in C programming. See, without doing maths, just by seeing maths, can we learn the maths? No, it is not possible. Mathematics to learn, we need to do the step-by-step practice. The same thing will apply to the programming as well. In order to learn the programming, you need to do the step-by-step practice. Many are saying, many are coming to me that we are not understanding PPS, we are not understanding programming, especially theory. Of course, to some extent we can manage, but programming we are not understanding, sir. This is, see, being a CSC student, being an IT student, you cannot escape from the programming. And I know many of you are doing programming for the first time. Many of you, only very few. In a section, I hardly see one or two students, those who are having the prior practice of this programming. In terms of HTML, in terms of C, they are having the practice prior to the semester. But many, almost 98 99% of the students, they are doing PPS for the first time, they are doing C language for the first time. And how come you are expecting without practice to learn all these things? And believe me, if you go to the exam just one day before just one day before the exam, if you do the study, you will not get any score. There is a possibility that you get failed over there. So rigorous practice is very, very, very important, believe me. Without practice, you will not get anything, you will not understand anything, and moreover, as I said, being an IT student, CSE student, computer science student, if you don't do the practice of all these things over here, you will struggle a lot in the upcoming semesters. Like over there, you have DSA, Java, many other subjects. For all those subjects, this C language is the basis. And without basics, you know how you people will struggle. So just my request to practice the programs whenever you got some free time, just practice the programs. I have given you many different applications, many different examples of applications how you can execute the programs. Even I told you how to execute C language programs in your mobile phone as well, because many said that, sir, we don't have laptop, sir, we don't have desktop. So for them also I have shown the alternate ways how you can execute the C programs in your mobile phones just by having the decoder application in your mobile phone. It is a wonderful app, we can say. It's a wonderful application. Just download it from Google Play Store and start practicing the C programs. Okay. Thank you very much, students.